I imagined coming into it. Like
really
two really even teams and a lot of back and forth.
It delivered on everything we anticipated.
So, pick a man face. Let's all reset. New game, new day. It's actually a new day right now. So
it's a new day. It's potentially a new dawn. It's potentially a new life for either Origen or ROCCAT, and definitely not for me.
Oh, you are done after this, Trevor.
I don't know the rest of the lyrics. I can't keep that up. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I ran out of steam there. But power picks: Shen, Camille, LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Varus is the other top tier one.
Oh, Varus will get banned on red side almost every single time. They're leaving it for last. See if we get some shenanigans. They do ban away Satorius Gragas, which was pretty good in the first game.
Yeah.
We have to say. Now, man, also keeping the focus as a coach, you know, you're sitting there watching the game, you're writing down notes, you're kind of preparing your next pick and ban phase. Because it's very easy to mess up the pick and ban phase as well and put your team in a disadvantage.
We've seen that more times than I would like over the last few weeks. And a reminder to everybody at home, if you are just tuning in, we're on patch 7.4. Oriana is disabled due to the incident earlier today. And last ban for Origen was Zyra.
Oh, that means Malzahar. There's Malzahar first. Oh!
Varus!
Damn, ROCCAT is like, oh, this is cool. They're like, ha ha ha. You want to first pick Malzahar? No. Now Varus you need to consider as well. Because if they go Varus, then you just go Jhin against it and you take like that trade. But Varus is such a power pick. Like, he's so good. He was left untouched in this patch.
Will Tabzz play it? Tabzz
played, yeah, 100%.
Who's played Ezreal above everything else.
But this now means that ROCCAT can go for the Malzahar. That's why they're leaving Varus open to be like, you ban Zyra, so you want to first pick Malzahar because you want to avoid the Zyra in lane. So they're going to get it. They've been picking jungle every time, so that's Rengar. 2 power picks for ROCCAT. Now, MF is still open as a counter pick to Malzahar, and I would love to see that from xpeke. For my AD carry, come on. For sure he can play it, and Varus MF is such a strong lane against Malzahar, and you can bully him early.
All right, so Maxlore played one game on that Rengar.
He might just play Lula again,
It was a win.
He's going to play Lula because Rengar's there as well.
Origen going to have some options. Comfortable pick on the Graves for Wisdom. You know, pretty good in the previous game.
Whoa! Damn, let's move on.
Saved it there.
Did you?
I mean, Lulu into Rengar, we've seen that a couple times. UOL sort of, I don't want to say famously, but UOL used it very well
100%.
Earlier in the split.
So, Lulu as a pick against Malzahar and Rengar, or MF to bully the lane. Show us what you got, xpeke. You got none of them.
Oh, Phaxi's not going to be able to play Rumble. It's not banned this time.
Oh, we should use it anyway.
Denied.
We should use it anyway, just to show what the other guy could have done on the champion. So, I think that's good. Oh, Rumble actually, yeah, been banned so often. Great pick up in the top lane. Definitely one of the S tiers at the moment. Also doesn't have like any like direct hard counters, which just makes him useless. But this means Origen, insane, explosive mid-game, lethality AD carry, lethality jungler, Rumble top lane. Like, this mid-game is crazy strong if they can actually force fights around it. Yeah, that's a big if. Sorry. That's a very big if.
It's just caught me.
We should get a graphic with the if.
Yeah, if they can force fights. Now, actually, I mean, Origen in the late game, they played around that Baron pretty well. Looking at this, like, weird phase 1 picks, there's not a lot of mirroring necessarily, so that's why you've got Syndra Lulu banned from ROCCAT, maybe going to amplify the chances of misfortune on the side of xpeke. Alternatively, the Karma, which he's played a bunch. With Jhin denied from Hjarnan, does that raise Ezreal's stock? What does Hjarnan default to?
That's
Ashe is gone as well now.
Ezreal is severe, but none of them are fantastic against Varus. Like, I just want to see Origen all in on this bot lane because they're going to get AD carry advantage. They can get support advantage with MF as well. And I think that would just give them like such a strong early to make him. Oh, Ziggs, of course, is another one, but very heavy on the magic damage on the side of ROCCAT right now. Because top lane, it's mainly tanks. We see another whole lot of tanks, other than like a Poppy, really offer you proper physical damage. So, give me MF here. Come on, xpeke. Give me that MF.
What if Phaxi wants to run some sort of carry? Fiora's been banned a couple times in phase 2. There's a last pick potential here.
He's going to go Gnar.
If Satorius runs a tank, I mean, Gnar or Fiora brings you some AD damage.
Satorius has the Rumble already.
Touché, I'm blind. I'm so blind.
xpeke, why not just go for win lane? Okay, AListar is another pick we've seen a bit against Malzahar because you can, with your combo, space it out so you proc the passive first of Malzahar and then you can Q him after and knock him up. And also, you can't really ulti him, the AListar. It's kind of useless, right? He already has an inbuilt QSS in his ulti, but I'm looking at something like a Gnar here as a last pick to get some physical damage on the side of ROCCAT, and also as a pick against Rumble, where you can go Hexdrinker early. It's a very old matchup that we used to see a lot. Renekton is another one you can try and use for physical damage.
What I like about this is damage, damage, damage again. It's not two tanks in the top lane,
of damage.
But fight, fight, fight. Potential. Renekton or Gnar. What does Phaxi want to lock in? 2 seconds left. It will be the Gnar in the top lane. So some wombo combo team fight power. And again, 2 fairly complex team compositions here from both sides. Both with some scaling, both with wave clear. Like,
yeah.
This is one of those games where if a team gets ahead, they have all of the tools and the damage to stay ahead and keep your opponent down.
There's no easy to execute composition here. There's no easy to play tank in the top lane either. Like, it requires a lot to play around the Gnar and his Mega Gnar. So super interesting last pick and ban phase. And as you said, like, dare I say it should be explosive. Now,
it was pretty explosive in the last game.
It was, and then obviously we had the very slow mid to late game, but like, there's engage on both sides. There's strong mid games on both sides. There's no like easy to execute tanks as I highlighted before. This game should actually be a lot of fun to watch. So much damage on each side. And we get to yell Mega Gnar.
It's one of my favorite spell names in the game, being able to yell Gnar with that grumble. Ladies and gentlemen, jump onto Twitter. Let us know who you think will win. Hashtag 1GWin or hashtag R1CWin. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the real one. Hashtag OGWin, hashtag ROCWin. 1 series victory. 1 more Nexus. 1 more time will lead us to 1 AM, and a team will get their first win of the spring split.
Yeah, shout out to everyone who's still in the studio watching. It is actually fantastic that you guys are still here, making so much noise. I believe the last train stops at either, is it at 12 or at 1? Either way, you guys might be stuck here. Sucks for you, but you can just be here for tomorrow's show.
Get early positioning at the door as we load up onto the rift for, no! Oh, that was a little bit of an emotional reaction, sorry.
Tell me how you really feel, Trey.
I thought I just did.
We're investigating. Turns out it is...
All right, it's a technical mouse issue. Could just be a case of plugging it in, and we tried turning it on and off again, and we'll find out.
We had some old jokes earlier today. There's one I'm missing from the EU LCS related to mouse issues. It's an old school one. It's one we haven't gotten to use in a long time. But did you guys know there was a player called Kirk,
oh my God,
who used to have a trackball? So every time there was a pause with Millennium or Alternative, whichever team he was on at that time, we would always make the same joke, like me and D-Man or me and Joe, and we would kind of laugh and be like, what if it's his trackball and we don't have a spare one? What do we do? Now that's an old one, and everyone hated us for it, and now brought it up again, so screw all of you if you hate it still, but it's back.
And I hate you for bringing it back up.
But trackball, mate, trackball, it was our one storyline.
I'd be actually impressed if a lot of our viewers even know what a trackball is.
Because I've seen
legitimately. I think a trackball mouse predates a lot of people who play League of Legends. So like, Google trackball mouse and tweet at Deficio if you know what it is, because I don't think...
They do. Otherwise, they will know the story and how much people hated that one story because it's been mentioned a few times on Reddit and so on.
I can't believe you thread necroed that one.
Dude, it's a 3rd game in ROCCAT Origin. It's past 12. We're still here. I can bring back old memories.
Touche. You know what?
Just to annoy people. I literally just did that to annoy the people who hated the story.
I'll give you that one. And we look back into the game. No real surprises here in terms of summoner spells. Flash Exhaust for Betsy. Cleanse for NaeHyun.
Okay.
And let's see what Maxlore can do on Rengar. Slightly weaker pre-6 ganks, but he's got lanes that can set him up very well.
Yep.
Ryze and Gnar, terrifying. Got some CC, got some damage, chase potential as well. And another Raptor camp starts for Maxlore. And Phaxi, it's equalized on the other side. Sorry, correction. Wisdom Satorius is starting on Raptor. It's Maxlore and Phaxi that are starting this time around. Previously, they've gone blue buff in previous 2 games.
And we have ROCCAT with a composition that can easily play all 3 lanes. Later on in the game, Gnar one lane beats out the Rumble once he gets a bit of MR in there. Ryze goes down to the other lane. Wisdom with a sneaky path here. Did his Raptors rush straight to blue buff to take that one down. And now he will actually steal the way. So Maxlore doesn't know this is happening. There was no ward spotting it. And it's a very unusual path for Wisdom to take. Don't even think he got to clear out his full Raptor camp before he got over there.
Doesn't look like it by the minimap, at least.
Yeah, take it away.
Obviously, Wisdom not going to go back to clear that out just yet either. So jumps into the Brambleback pit. Looks like he wants to get his hands on that red buff. Thank you very much, observers.
Left the big one because the reason the big one was left was because he wanted to save Smite to steal away the blue. And normally you always smite the big Raptor here. So by him not doing that, taking the small ones, rushing over, take away blue buff with the Smite, he can now return to his own jungle and get everything else.
Look at the wards that Wadid just placed inside Origen's jungle in that bottom quadrant. One in the Krug camp and one in the entrance to river, just on the left-hand side of your screen. Couple of pings as xpeke gets a combo down onto Hjarnan. Tabzz tags him with a piercing arrow, but wave being pushed in. Varus, AListar, early levels into Ziggs, Malz. There's no surprises there. And I guess now we're kind of looking at xpeke and Tabzz. Can they play aggressively when they get a few levels under the belt? Can they look to combo that Malz?
I mean, I definitely feel like they picked the AListar for like 2 separate reasons. One, if they want to try and play around bottom side after level 6, AListar can come in handy. Or if they just say, you know what, we're fine just going even in lane or losing slightly, but then we want to have the AListar for late game fights, where he, of course, has a lot of power. He needs to actually scale up now in levels with his ulti after the nerf that happened a long time ago.
I'm not sure why they'd want to invest in any sort of late game. You know, I just can't put my finger on it. But
no, that's the thing. Like in this best of 10 here, the game's been very quick.
Oh yes, oh yes. And you were talking about laning a second ago, Deficio. Let's take a look at Satorius' Rumble. Denying that pick from Phaxi.
Oh yeah.
And Phaxi's Rumble, when he played it, was phenomenal. I mean, absolutely amazing.
Look at that man.
This is Phaxi's stats, right? Literally the best performance on Rumble, all split.
In the league, yeah.
In the league.
Highest numbers in the league.
But it was a single game.
Now, context on this one, because this seems really weird. Why are we showing him, you know, ROCCAT, Phaxi on Rumble here? We were kind of diving in to look for something on Phaxi to highlight. We were like, okay, where's he really been like stand out? Because he's been a very quiet player. He's not had like any huge performances, except for this one Rumble game we found. You were like, okay. If he gets his Rumble, bam, we can hype up the last game. But sadly, it's been denied every single time. And gotta see if Satorius can do the same. But it's been a pick that we haven't seen a whole lot of from Phaxi himself, except for that one game.
Yep, one single game.
Man.
Outlier. And
he lost a lot of value because he wasn't playing it.
It did. It did a little bit. But I mean, you delivered that well, though. Thank you, Deficio.
But it was supposed to be us going like, look how insane he is. And then you were supposed to whisper like, in one game. But now it didn't really happen. So.
Maxlore really did not like that blast cone. Wanted to get rid of it. Gonna run into
Wisdom.
Jungle on jungle combat. Betsy is pushed up very aggressively. Betsy can respond. Wisdom's already flashed. Flash over from Betsy. Rune Prison goes down. First blood to Maxlore.
Man, that is a perfect start here for ROCCAT. Pre-level 6 Rengar gets a kill. Maxlore again, the man with the early aggression. xpeke using the little combo we talked about there. You headbutt in to block the passive, and then you can stun Malzahar after. Because you don't actually want to knock him further away. You just want to break that passive. So it's fine. It's perfect that actually denies it. And now he wants to stop him from freezing.
Like a headbutt to the face for Wadid. And I don't think it got the wave all the way into the tower, but always help out ever so slightly. We jump to the mid lane. NaeHyun's being run down by Betsy, trading Twin Fangs and overloads and skill shots landing for Betsy. Pretty good accuracy. Exhaust available, flash is not.
Again, remember, ROCCAT is waiting to have this Ryze in one lane, you know, Gnar in the other one. So for them having an early game where it's fairly even is perfectly fine because they need Rod of Ages and everything. Satorius is roaming down. He's gonna ulti. Betsy no flash.
Betsy's in so much trouble. Look at that. Miasma into Flame Spitter. And Satorius burns down Betsy where he stands.
All right, great little roam from Satorius. He's come alive, you know. This man, the last 2 weeks, been much better, honestly, and much more active as well.
Yeah, good teleports, good plays in the mid lane. I know the action has just ended, but I wanted to look at NaeHyun's Cassiopeia a little bit, because NaeHyun as a player, despite being talked about for a lot of reasons, has actually struggled on certain champions a lot. And you can't necessarily point this directly to just him. Team has lost a lot, so therefore his stats are going to be low. But like his average damage per minute, very, very low on Cassiopeia, 275. The league average is over 420. CSD also behind his opponents. And we need to see him finding a little bit more consistency and a little bit more stronger play.
Yeah, I think what's been hard for NaeHyun is to play fairly low mobility champions because the team has been so uncoordinated, and whenever they kind of enter these fights, it's really hard for him on a Syndra, on a Cassiopeia to kind of position properly. Normally you rely on your team a lot there, but they haven't had that synergy, so he's been kind of caught out on his own. That obviously means he gets to deal almost no damage, and then he just looks extremely weak on the champion. But at the same time, you know, despite having some of these problems and the numbers not being behind him, I still feel like NaeHyun in a lot of the games from Origen actually were doing like as much as he could do. Yeah,
it's one of those cases where when your team is losing around you many times,
right. But this is definitely, this is not saying that NaeHyun has been like the best and everyone else has been bad or anything. No. It's been a team problem. He's had a few good games here and there, but also had a lot of games where you could question a lot of stuff happening. And I think that's the same for both teams. Surprise, surprise, that's why there's 0-7.
Yeah.
The big statements coming here after 12. We saved all the good ones, you know, the ones you didn't expect.
Oh, yes. Like the history lesson. Thank you for that.
Trackball. Trackball.
Not relevant for now as Maxlore roams up to the mid lane. Got access to that hunt on level 6 if NaeHyun pushes out further. Oh, he doesn't even need to. Jumped on. Come on, Maxlore. Leaps over the wall. Got a strike, not going to stun him, and even turns away from the petrifying gaze. But flash down for a low mobility mid laner.
And no ulti used by Maxlore. He simply just jumped from the brush onto NaeHyun. That's very, very important. Rengar, you always track like the first ultis. How successful are they? Can he get a few more kills? So, hand over blue buff. Still kind of tracking Maxlore around. So the top lane is going as planned, dead even. You wait for Gnar to get a few items, and then he can start just pushing the wave over and over. Betsy again going to the other lane as we highlighted before, once he's strong enough. And then Origen is the team who's looking to force plays. Like the problem with like Cassiopeia is always, she never had a place in the mid game because she couldn't just sit in mid lane. Her wave clear is fine if she has time on the wave, but if you're sieging, then her wave clear is really weak. She can't go side lane either very effectively because so low mobility. She gets ganked, she dies very, very easy. So you kind of need to put her somewhere, but you can't really put her anywhere. And that's why teams started drafting like Tahm with her, because then she could go side lane, Tahm would sit mid, and he could ult down towards her in case stuff was happening. Not in this game though, so we have to see how NaeHyun plays out the mid to late game. Betsy will have the advantage in the side lane for sure, in terms of also like mobility and CC and everything. And that's going to be good for ROCCAT.
Yeah, there's no room for error for NaeHyun. Low mobility champion, like you mentioned, a lot of the weaknesses in terms of the kits. And there was a little bit of a potential contest around Vision and the Scuttle Crab for this Infernal Drake. Much earlier focus. Over the course of the last 2 games, 13 dragons have been killed, and 11 of them have gone to Origen. A huge amount. And ROCCAT this time round, no contest, no one around, so easily going to pick up the first dragon of the game in this final match on day 1 yet in week 7.
Yeah, to go back to the champ select. Almost.
Piercing arrow was close.
One of the reasons I wanted to see like more of a lane bully support from Pekka was so that you had a winning bot lane on the side of Origen, and you had this counter pick in the mid lane. I call it counter, like Cassiopeia is a fine matchup against Ryze, and then you could actually put a lot of pressure on the bottom side of the map. Where you have these dragons. And then when you have a rumble, if you get one dragon and the next one and they have to contest, Phaxi gets to flash away. Not a whole lot else going on there,
but look at the bottom lane. Look at the bottom lane. Betsy also moving in for tower. NaeHyun, Satorius, Wisdom, they're pushing onto the tower. ROCCAT have actually backed away. So looking at the tower damage, Origen might get tower first blood.
Oh, really well played if Origen can actually, they will get it down. Satorius can tank it. Oh, actually no, they can't.
Not yet. But they should be able to get back in on the tower. Okay, all of a sudden, Hjarnan's being tagged up under tower. Tabzz is knocked away. Teleport coming down onto the minions as well. Buying some time. Mega Inferno Bomb in behind Tabzz. Exhaust onto Maxlore. We jump onto Wisdom.
The camera work is a disaster.
Maxlore's running away.
What's happening? They failed.
12:30. ROCCAT don't get the tower.
Hjarnan died. Hjarnan actually, so they engaged down bot lane. ROCCAT then went in for a dive. Maxlore didn't get anything while Hjarnan died at the same time. We're gonna have to see the replay there. Origen defends the tower, take top lane tower, and ROCCAT completely butchers the whole thing.
Just like that, Origen pull significantly ahead in the early game. The tower, the kills.
Win game 3, Trevor. This is all or nothing. You can't drop the food on the ground. You need to be able to execute a play like that.
Yep.
That TP as well. It was a possibility of 5 members bot lane for ROCCAT against just 2 Origen players. And Origen ended up getting a kill and defended the tower. World class. Right there. Calling it already.
I'm not touching that. Well, look, it's a good play by Origen, okay? Like I said, they pull ahead, they respond well to that dive, and it's a reactionary play, not necessarily a proactive play, but let's see how they use it going forward. Ghostblade for Tabzz, Liandry's Torment for Satorius, because both of them have the kills. Both of them got benefit of first tower gold, and now they can use that itemization advantage to press further.
Yeah, we highlighted this in a champ select, like the mid game with lethality champions in Graves and Varus, combined with the Rumble, who's traditionally always been one of the best mid game top laners, is fantastic for Origen. Like insane spikes all across the board in terms of the damage, and their tank is the AListar. It is the AListar in the front, obviously. You have Bruisers then in the Graves and the Rumble right behind him, and then you have the 2 squishies in the back, and NaeHyun and Tabzz. ROCCAT will really struggle to contest the next Dragon if Origen keeps this control.
All right, looks like the vision is being set up here for Origen. How deep do they want to push into ROCCAT territory? We'll find out in a moment or two. No teleport for either top laner, and they're on about the same cooldown. But looking at, you know, the supports and the junglers holding hands, xpeke and Wisdom relatively nearby here by the red buff. Maxlore, Wadid, they're also moving in. Wadid's got access to that nether grasp, so if he wants to jump and try lock down a target, he can.
You do not want the cow at any point. Stupid, sexy xpeke walking at you, and you can't touch him.
Nope, you absolutely cannot.
Him. You want to, but you can't.
You cannot break his will.
All right, so NaeHyun left the bottom side. Maxlore was moving around, so this is a good engage from Origen, actually getting so much damage down. And then look here, ulti from Hjarnan, while Maxlore dives in, doesn't hit anything. And he just ends up dying, and Maxlore has to just jump out. Like, NaeHyun was down there at first when they were pushing in. He then left again and walked to mid lane. And Maxlore needed a lot of time before he could actually set up the dive.
Looking at setting up a dive, Wisdom and xpeke grouping up towards NaeHyun's lane in the mid. Betsy still has flash, still has exhaust, so not necessarily super keen on diving him underneath the tower. And xpeke instead just going to move away. He's got those Moby boots on the cow, so a lot of movement, speed to roam around between his lanes. And
what? You're right. I mean, what a great... I don't know. It's a great statement. He got those Moby boots, so a lot of movement.
Dude, do you see how quick he's running?
Yeah, he is. It was one of those very traditional caster comments. I love that we have.
Play-by-play statements. You can say.
No, it's a caster comment. It's like when we're thinking about what is it actually we want to talk about, we just have to keep talking. So it's like a filler statement coming out, being like, yeah, here we did. He's moving. He's flying.
Here's some information you might actually appreciate. So we talked about NaeHyun's damage per minute on Cassio and how it's below the average, right? Most Cassiopeias at 15 minutes in game have dealt 2.5 thousand damage. This game, NaeHyun has dealt 5.4 thousand damage. Over double. Now, obviously, there's been some contests, there's been some fights, so improvement here from NaeHyun. Thank you very much, stats team, for staying on the ball and keeping us up to date. But that trend needs to continue, right? NaeHyun has to keep up this level of performance to make a difficult champion work.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Next step for Origen is the Mountain Drake. Problem is they can't really push out the lanes. Ziggs has this annoying thing where he gets some levels in his Q, he gets Lost Chapter into Morellonomicon, and the gameplay of Ziggs in the bot lane is literally push. Nice, Hjarnan.
No, don't ulti him. Let's say, why? Unbreakable Will comes down. What is it worth? It is Malzahar ulti for tank ALiStar ulti 5 seconds before Dragon. The right call. We're about to find out.
Well, Tabzz is out of mana as well, so ROCCAT feeling pretty confident that they have control on the bottom side. Maxlore is going to take out the control ward. As I was saying though, the gameplay of Ziggs at this point, especially if you want to play him in solo queue, is just push, 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 just Q the wave, Q the wave, Q the wave, over and over and over, and get damage on this tower. Just chip it down, then you execute it, and it gives ROCCAT bot lane control, because they always have to push in the bottom lane with the Ziggs. Tabzz ran out of mana, went back to base. Not sure if ROCCAT saw his recall, because they didn't start the dragon.
ROCCAT too slow, too late to the party. QSS has been picked up by Tabzz on that last back. Gonna play into his favor if he's jumped on, and Wisdom now actually responding to some pressure in the mid lane. All right, Dragon did not get taken. Wadid committed his ultimate to potentially remove like the engage potential, the frontline potential.
That is big for Origen though. The fact it didn't lose the dragon when the bot lane had to recall. Ziggs will return to bot lane, will continue up. He's pushing, but now Origen might have a chance to actually like respond. Tabzz has some mana. You have your AListar if you want to coordinate a gank. Because it's all about getting the push. That's like, a basic of League of Legends is literally just pushing lanes. It is so simple to think about, but if you can't push the lanes, you cannot properly set up for objectives.
While I agree the concept of pushing a lane is very simple, the next step of what do you do after it? Where do you go?
Of course.
That's where the complexity comes in, right? And that's what we're starting to see with these two teams, and maybe why our games have gone as long as they have.
Well, right now, Origen finally got to push out the bottom lane after the reset. They walk in, they start this one. They don't have a control ward, which is a big no-no. Shame on you, xpeke, for not having a control ward being put down near this dragon if you want to go for it.
No one's nearby.
No one from ROCCAT wants to contest.
Smite early from Wisdom. Mega Inferno Bomb not going to get used from Hjarnan. I wondered if it was going to. We're going to take a look at Satorius. He's being jumped on. Betsy and Maxlore looking to run him down. Tower damage is very, very high. The exhaust will mitigate any kills, but while that's going on, Hjarnan's being jumped down in the bottom lane. Petrifying Gaze, that's just for a slow. Twin Fang after Twin Fang. Mega Inferno Bomb in the tower. Not going to be enough. They end up trading 1 for 1.
So Origen getting the Mountain Drake, plus the kills here, will get the bot lane tower. Not the first one of the game, they already got top lane, so good trade from Origen. Take back my shame on you, xpeke, because ROCCAT were looking to make a play on top side. They completely gave up that Mountain Drake.
So it ends up being 1 kill each, 1 tower each, but Mountain to OG. So net gain, net advantage.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Still to OG. Also, if you look at where the kills are, right? It's in all the carries. Tabzz, insta-QSS. Why did you do that?
The classic mistake. You forget to click tab to look at Tabzz and see if he had built a QSS. And he had built it.
Tab squared. Tab squared.
Yes. Satorius, sadly for him, he knew he was going to get ganked because nothing was happening on the bottom side. They were standing on a ward killing a Drake and no one contested it. So top side was the play for ROCCAT. Sadly reacted a little bit too late. That's why he dies. Good cross map though. But yeah, now with ROCCAT losing out on a Mountain Drake, still so even in gold, Trev. This is gonna be another one. Like, these games are legit the same. Like, these teams are just the same. They're so close. It's crazy. And we're gonna have this, and I promise you guys, I know it's 3-2.
Oh, don't promise a team fight. You always promise a team fight.
I promise you guys, the mid game, it will be explosive.
Okay.
It will be explosive. I'm telling you, if you guys all believe it at home and in the studio, then it will happen.
Charge your Spirit Bomb. Goku is calling on you.
Because look at the mid-game spikes everywhere from these guys. You know, 2 items completed on Ryze.
Yeah, the double tier comp is coming into its own very, very soon.
Double tier.
Continuing to scale. Mountain Drake on one side.
There's a Malzahar who can flash in and ulti like, oh, xpeke! Explosive!
Jumps in. Double knockup. Wadid and Phaxi running away. Satorius trying to burn people down. Maxlore flashes over the wall. Mega Inferno Bomb into the Gnar that I wanted to see. xpeke headbutts Phaxi away. It's going to be a 1 for 1. Make that a 1 for 2. ROCCAT win the fights.
Man, okay, xpeke wanted some action right there. NaeHyun was bot lane, pushing on his own, and then xpeke went aggressive. Ends up losing the fight, but if NaeHyun can get some damage on bot, nah, he can't. It's too risky. He's too risky. He has to back away. I promised all of you.
You did. Your timing was actually exceptional.
It's impressive.
It is.
That was actually really lucky timing.
Well done.
Because he didn't even have to force a fight. His mid laner was bot lane. Why did he even fight?
Let's take a look. Why did he fight?
Yeah, why did he fight? I don't know, because bot lane NaeHyun is sitting there. They thought they could just kind of burst down with it, but now obviously all of ROCCAT coming in to fight, and it's a 5v4. So 2 kills for them, and nothing gained for Origen.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that like little advantage that Origen earned earlier has kind of been given back over to ROCCAT. Now ROCCAT have a 1,000 gold lead. 22 minutes in, items continuing to scale up. I think it's important to keep track of Satorius this game. His early roam to mid, very powerful. The Equalizer and Flame Splitter almost able to turn that fight in Origen's favor, and he's already got an Hourglass and Liandry's. So the potential for these next few fights, very, very high, and a lot of pressure on his shoulders.
Problem for Origen is like starting fights is all about Pekka and then like Tabzz ulti. Because ROCCAT, again, as you can see now, wants to play this 1-3-1 we mentioned earlier, like Ryze top lane, Gnar in the other lane, and Gnar's gonna keep pushing down the Rumble over and over and start to get a bit more pressure, and then he can either roam or he can maybe get some damage on the tower. And top lane, you know, Betsy's more than fine sitting 1v1 against NaeHyun as well, and it's all about Origen's mid lane pressure. That's where Varus obviously can shove out the wave very easily, and then suddenly Pekka can move. And once you have mid lane control, the enemy team can't 1-3-1, because then you can roam in behind them. And then it's really easy to stop a split push.
Did I hear that correctly? Did Maxlore throw down Thrill of the Hunt? Yes, looks to be the case. Big leap forward onto xpeke. Here comes NaeHyun from the side. Teleport from Satorius. He needs to get a good equalizer. Chain of Corruption is slowly starting to spread. Equalizer available, but not fired. Collateral damage from Wisdom. He doesn't have a flash available. Gets pinned into the wall. Locked down as well. And unfortunately,
it's another
gives up his life.
Man, it's another close fight. Maxlore jumping in. Really wanted to get onto Pekka, funny enough as well. He must have been looking for someone else. Couldn't get to that target and had to just kind of switch over for the cow. Where you're from, Trevor, is it a thing that you walk out to the fields and then people like tip the cows?
No, nobody does that to cows.
Is that a Danish thing then?
Why would you go and push a cow over?
I don't do it because I think it's really, like, I feel sorry for the cow. I love cows. I love animals. Like, my mom is from a farm and everything, so I love all that kind of stuff. But apparently it's a thing in Denmark that people walk around and they tip cows.
What?
I don't know why.
The hell are you talking about?
They do that, I'm just saying. So anyway, Max tried to tip the cow. It didn't work. The cow won this time, I'm glad.
And he ended up trading 1 for 1, right?
And they ended up trading 1 for 1, yes.
Satorius did not use his equalizer there. But as we jump out of the replay, Satorius does use his equalizer here. Maxlore jumps in through the hunt. So far, Wadid is down. Tabzz gets traded. xpeke, no ultimate available. He's tipped in the river. ROCCAT get themselves a 1 for 2. Didn't quite see the setup of that fight.
Oh, bam! In your face.
Yep. And he wants a pair of snakeskin boots. And Hjarnan takes NaeHyun's life to get them. They also get a tower. ROCCAT winning back-to-back team fights.
We're getting a lot of action here. A lot of fights. 3 members died on the side of Origen. It's been like 1 for 1, 1 for 2 every time, except for this one. ROCCAT getting a bigger and bigger gold advantage. They will get faster towards their 3 items. And it's gonna be super key. Like, they can play around the Gnar now because they are ahead. So they can have Gnar split push, and then they can time his TP with his Mega Gnar, which is so key. Like, one of the reasons some teams don't like Gnar is because he's so unpredictable in that sense. Like, if he doesn't have Mega Gnar when he TPs in, he's useless. And the enemy team can play around it, kind of disengage when he comes in with Mega Gnar, and then it runs out, and then they can fight. But when you have the advantage and you can push with Gnar, then you can also dictate when to start fights.
And let's see if ROCCAT can, right? Because that does take, again, a lot of coordination, a lot of planning, a lot of timing, a lot of communication as well. The impact can be astronomical. And as it stands, no vision for ROCCAT means Origen are going to get their hands on this Cloud Drake. So that's the second of the game for them. The 16th dragon of the series. A lot of dragons. And Deficio, across the 3 games, 8 Barons have been secured. All 8 of them have gone to Origen.
That's actually impressive.
Yes. All 8 Barons went to Origen, and they're even at 1-1. Right? You figured that out.
That is... I mean, just the fact we had 8 Barons in 2 games. Like, you normally get like 8 Barons doing a week of LCS.
Yep.
Maybe that's a little bit wrong.
A little bit low, but not by much. Not by much.
Still.
All right, now ROCCAT are going to be in a position where they could potentially set up for some Baron vision. They're on the disadvantaged side of the map.
But again, ROCCAT doesn't even necessarily need Baron at the moment because they can play around these towers with the Ziggs, and they're going for Satorius.
They are indeed. Hourglass is available, not even going to get used. Look at that CC! Comboed nearly perfectly. Boulder toss from Phaxi gets the kill, while the rest of the team takes the tower. That looked fantastic.
And honestly, ROCCAT are in full control right now. They're using the split push very well, sending Ziggs down when they want to finish the tower. Good engage onto Satorius. No QSS from him, and Wadid knew that and actually went straight for the kill. So now, again, as you said, ROCCAT, they have the map control. They can set up for Baron. They haven't managed to get one, as you also highlighted very well just before. This might be the game.
And is this where the heartbreak happens? Origen are now 4,000 gold down. They won game one. They broke all the streaks. And will Origen be 2 games behind Vitality in 4th? This fight might be a big determining factor. Wadid is already down, but Origen, they're split up, they're surrounded. There's enemies on every single flank, and ROCCAT trade 3 for 1. This might be Baron.
Yeah, it feels like Origen has lost all focus. 3 guys were hiding in their jungle of ROCCAT. Satorius and Tabzz were really, really far away. And ROCCAT again gets one of these fights where it's actually xpeke starting it, but it's ROCCAT with the numbers advantage. And now, on Baron, Satorius has no ulti for a few more seconds. That is so important.
No, piercing arrow. Where is Tabzz? He's charging it up. There's already a kill. Baron secured. Tabzz is going to get blown up as well. It's a delayed ace for ROCCAT. It's Baron for ROCCAT.
And that is the thing. Like, we have to highlight, these guys have been here on stage for such a long time. Like, there is player fatigue. And it seems like Origen are forcing unnecessary fights, and they get punished by ROCCAT, who's playing much better in this game here. This was their old fight that actually happened a long time ago. It's kind of throwback moment. I think this was in 1999 or something.
We've had a few of those.
Oh, that was NaeHyun going down. We're gonna watch it again. Whoop. Good sound effects.
Feels bad, man. That just felt brutal to watch, and this is going to be brutal to watch. If you are an Origen fan, Wisdom is going to at least be able to escape thanks to the QSS. Turn it back around onto Wadid. Miasma is going to prevent any of those movement spells. xpeke on the front line. Unbreakable Will needs a few more seconds. He can't go. The unkillable tank just yet. NaeHyun's the target next. He's going to get dropped down. It's a double kill for Hjarnan.
So ROCCAT now with Baron, with the kills, will get turrets as well. They might be able to break into the base. Again, much like we've seen in the other games, it always ends up with ROCCAT getting 1 inhib down. Then Origen fights back. But this is the first time it's been a 10k goal lead at 30 minutes.
Yes, this lead may be too sizable. Phaxi gets a boomerang blade onto Tabzz. He's going to hop forward. And Gnar is charging up. Inhibitor number 1 is already down. Phaxi's onto the next one. Here's Gnar. 3-0 and 2. This has been a good performance. An inhibitor turret in the top lane is going to fall.
Oh, Satorius coming in from the flank here. Origen probably feels like they have to fight their way out, but xpeke is in alone.
He is. He's used his ultimate. There's no support from anybody else. The captain goes down before the ship has sunk. And the next to fall is Wisdom. Golf claps here in Berlin as Satorius gets surrounded and clapped by ROCCAT.
Is this game over already? Like, 3 guys are still dead for another 20 to 30 seconds. Baron buff minions. That's
I think they're going to do it. ROCCAT at 30 minutes. They're onto the Nexus turrets. They've broken the hearts of Origen. They've killed NaeHyun one more time. And ROCCAT take down Origen.
So, ROCCAT didn't even feel like Game 3 was part of this series. The first 2 games were dead even, you know, super long. This one, ROCCAT and Origen matched each other for like 15, 16 minutes, and then suddenly, Origen engaged fight after fight after fight while being outnumbered. And ROCCAT just punished him so hard.
For the first time in 2017, ROCCAT are the victors. 1 win and 7 losses. It was a tough series.
Now they're all hugging each other. It always gets a little bit awkward because not everyone really wants to commit to it. But you kind of have to now, otherwise you're the odd man out.
Deficio, with the very difficult situation Giants found themselves in today, 1 and 7. ROCCAT now 1 and 7. There is a tie for 4th place. ROCCAT and Giants will be playing one another in the not too distant future, and that result could be the deciding factor on who places 4th and who places 5th. Who goes to the promotion tournaments?
Just to repeat a stat or a number we had earlier, the bottom 4 teams against the top 6 teams in EU LCS coming into this week, 2 wins only from the bottom 4 teams. None of them against the top 6 ones. They hadn't won a series against them. So when we have these matches, we really emphasize how important they are, because we don't expect these bottom 4 teams to take a series against the top 6, because they've been so far away so far. Winning this is so key.
It absolutely is, and while we're trying to see if we can talk to some of the ROCCAT players, you know, let's talk about what this means for the other team on the Rift today. For xpeke, for Origen, 0 wins on the table. Team Vitality, 2 wins.
Yeah.
Origen need to find a surprise victory somewhere. They play Giants on Sunday.
They have to win that one.
That is now a must-win series.
If you lose that one as Origen, then I don't think there's any chance you get out of the relegation tournament. And then suddenly you have to play that promotion tournament against Schalke and another, you know, well, I say against Schalke, they haven't won yet, but we expect them obviously to win.
Schalke, of course, had the perfect challenger split, undefeated for the first time. Not even Origen did that when they qualified. No. They lost one of the last games in their last best of 2, and of course, Schalke will be playing one of the EUCS semi-finals either next Sunday or the following Sunday. I haven't seen the schedule just yet, and Origen are 1 step closer to being in that promotion tournament for a second time. However, this time, there's way less confidence that they'll be able to win.
Oh, it's a much weaker lineup than the one that played last split, obviously, with a lot of known names, but also ROCCAT 1 step closer now to catching Giants and actually getting out of this promotion tournament spot. And for ROCCAT as an organization, you're coming in with some of the players that they picked up very early on in the off-season. It was definitely not expected from their side that they would sit down here and this would be the first series they win in week 7. That is like so often in EULCS, our bottom teams are getting a few wins here and there. But there's been no upsets this split.
Watching Peke and Ladak, the last 2 Origen members to leave the stage. Just got confirmation from the production team that next week, Schalke 04 will be taking on Misfits Academy. The winner goes to the promotion tournament. Will they be facing Origen? It's a little too soon to say for sure, because both of them need to lock in their positions. Anyways, take a look at exactly who was victorious that game, and to have a chat to Maxlore, it's Pyra.